A genius is only as great as their greatest creation. Wave the Swallow, her extreme gear is so good that even Sonic struggles to keep up. The Donpa, his tech transcends time and space. This dude casually built a dimension-hopping mail service. Terrifying. And Eggman? He built the Death Egg, a planet-destroying war station like it was a weekend project. And then we have Tails with his... What is Tails' greatest creation? Welcome to Tails Nexus, where this time we're actually appreciating Tails instead of bullying him for sport. No tragic deep dives, no dark theories, just a wholesome look at what makes this little nerd an actual genius. Even if Sega keeps forgetting. Seriously, why does Tails just stand around twiddling his thumbs these days? Kid's got an IQ of like 300, he should be building stuff, not having existential crises. Luckily, IDW didn't forget that Tails actually does things. Feels good to finally have a pro Tails video instead of an I feel bad for him or what happened to Tails video. This time, no tricks, just pure appreciation for the best two-tailed inventor in the series. Shocking, I know. Tails' ingenuity is one of his strongest traits, and it's why we want to see him keep creating amazing things. Since this video isn't a theory or deep lore discussion, I can pull up from any Sonic media I want. So if you're avoiding spoilers, here's a quick heads up. Now that we've set the stage, let's start with IDW. Right off the bat, two inventions come to mind. First, his Zeddy Zappers that subdue the entire Deadly Six, and second, his cure for the metal virus. And let's be real, figuring out how to cure a literal zombie plague is probably a little more impressive than something that subdues a couple of Zeddy. Now, let's talk about Tails' biggest flex, the cure for the metal virus. For context, the metal virus arc revolves around a near unstoppable bioweapon engineered by Dr. Eggman. And honestly, this is one of those rare Eggman should have won moments. Because technically, he did. Silver straight up confirms that the future is a lifeless, metallic wasteland, meaning the virus completely took over. So in a weird if I can't have it, no one can kind of way, Eggman actually won. That is some next level supervillain energy, I'm not gonna lie. But here is where Tails' brilliance really shines. Not only does he whip up a biometric scanner to analyze Sonic's speedy treatment against the virus, but he then uses that data to manufacture a full-blown cure in just a few hours. A few hours. Dude, that's insane. For perspective, a real-world pandemic requires thousands of top-tier scientists, decades of research, and a budget bigger than your average genie wish to create a cure. Even then, you're looking at 20,000 plus hours of combined work from a full team of specialists. And Tails? He did it solo in an afternoon. Like, I don't think we fully appreciate how ridiculous that is. This kid is built different. Sure, he lost the cure later, but that wasn't even his fault. And it definitely doesn't take away from the fact that he basically solo speedran the entire field of virology. A couple hours, man, this box is something else. Before we jump into the Zeti Annihilator 2000, yes, that's what I'm calling it, let's just take a second to appreciate the absolute unit that is Sonic in this arc. Because while Tails is out here curing global pandemics, Sonic is running for 3 days straight with minimal breaks just to keep the virus from consuming him. And here's the kicker, it's accelerating. This isn't just some static speed infection. No, the longer it's in Sonic's system, the faster it spreads. Meaning Sonic has to continuously increase his speed for 3 days straight just to stay ahead of it. And yeah, he does eventually get exhausted, but let's be real, who wouldn't? Now, I know Tails calls it the Zeddy Zapper, which, yeah, is a cool name and all, but Zeddy Annihilator 2000? Actually, you know what? Tails definitely had the better name here. I think I'll just stay in my lane and leave the naming to him. Anyway, let's get into it. After the chaos of the metal virus arc, we shift back to some lighter interactions, but lurking beneath the surface is still threats like Clutch the Opossum's mafia-like scheming and Dr. Starline's working his own agenda. But the Zeddy? They're the real problem, quietly waiting for the perfect moment to strike at the Restoration headquarters. And who's there to save the day? None other than our boy Sonic. He rushes in to handle the Deadly Six, and yeah, taking them on one at a time, easy. But all of them together? that's not going to be so simple. These guys have a blood vendetta against him. They're not going to go easy on him. That's where Tails comes in. He swoops in at the perfect moment, and just like that, boom, Zeddy Zap is deployed. Now, these bad boys don't just slow down the Zeddy. They neutralize them instantly. I mean, we're talking about a device that works on all the Zeddy, even the strongest of them, Zavok, without breaking a sweat. Tails basically built a faster, more powerful taser. Zavok thinks he's got the upper hand, taunting Tails that the tricks Sonic taught him won't work. But Tails? Well, he's always got a new trick up his sleeve. Cue to the coldest line Tails has ever dropped. And just like that, Zavok, the powerhouse leader of the Deadly Six, gets zapped out of commission. That's how you know Tails isn't just playing catch-up anymore. He's running the game. He took down one of the strongest members of the Deadly Six in one shot with his genius. And that, my friends, is what makes Tails the tech master we should all be rooting for. Alright. Those are some pretty impressive toys. What else do we have in store? Well, let's take a look at Sonic X, which, if you've watched the anime, I'm certain you already know what I'm going to talk about. That's right, we're talking about those little airplanes in episode The Blue Typhoon. Obviously. What else would there be to talk about? Oh, and the Chaos Emerald Tracker, but we'll get to that. Now, if you've never watched Sonic X, you're probably thinking this is some kind of mecha anime. And well, I mean, you're not entirely wrong, but that's besides the point. Tails built this thing and it's awesome! The Blue Typhoon isn't just any spaceship. This thing is stacked with features. It can handle the power of the Master Emerald. It has a Sonic launching railgun that turns him into a living missile for whatever poor soul decided to tick off Tails that day. And because Tails isn't a monster, it even comes with decorative trees. You gotta respect a man who cares about his spaceship feng shui. Now, we don't actually know how long it took Tails to build this massive, heavily armed Master Emerald powered battle cruiser, but judging by his track record, yeah, this is probably a weekend project. Hey Tails, what'd you do over the weekend?
Oh, build an intergalactic warship.
Casual. Oh, and just a quick side note before we move on, I'm pretty sure Sonic X isn't canon, even though I and plenty of others wish it was. But that's not stopping me from talking about it, because I like the show and Tails' inventions are sick. Now, as much as I'd love to deep dive into the X Tornado, it just doesn't feel right to lump it into the same segment as the Blue Typhoon. We gotta keep things fresh. So instead, let's talk about Tails' next great invention, the Chaos Emerald Tracker. This little gizmo lets Tails lock onto the energy signatures of Chaos Emeralds with pinpoint accuracy, turning what should be an impossible treasure hunt into a casual afternoon errand. Like, imagine spending your entire life searching for a legendary artifact, traveling the world, braving untold dangers, and then Tails just pulls out his magic scanner and finds it in 10 minutes. Man really looked at one of the hardest quests in the series and went, how do I complete this and make it home in time for dinner? Granted, it's not as flashy as a giant laser shooting spaceship, but the concept of being able to whip out a little gadget that just tells you where ultimate power is hidden is actually insane. Now, there are a few other neat inventions in Sonic X, like the nanoplanes, yeah, the tiny ones I memed on earlier, and the X Tornado, which is great but didn't make the cut this time. But personally, I think the Blue Typhoon and Chaos Emerald Tracker do the best job of showcasing Tails' genius. Sonic Adventure 2, the game where I will safely have no comment just to avoid angering either extreme end of the Sonic fandom. Thankfully, I don't need to say much about the game itself, other than acknowledging that it exists, and that it's got some very cool Tails moments. Two things stand out immediately to me, the Cyclone and the fake Chaos Emerald. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tails Nexus, didn't you just say you didn't include the X Tornado because of the Blue Typhoon? Why is the Cyclone any different? Observant viewer, you've uncovered my ulterior motive. Talking about the X Tornado would have made the segment feel like watching paint dry. It and the Cyclone shares so many features that it'd be like me telling you about toast, and then describing bread. Like, really. But the Cyclone, now that's a cool mech. Sure, it was kind of a bummer that Tails was practically welded into the thing for the entire game. Let the fox run free! But that doesn't make it any less impressive. It has that "don't talk to me or my son ever again" vibe. And it's absolutely packed with firepower. It harnesses Chaos Emerald energy, and it can switch between plane mode, walker mode, and kart mode, which, honestly, feels like Tails wanted to make sure he had a combat-ready option for every possible situation. Lock-on missiles? Check. Vulcan cannon? You bet. And if it had an inbuilt coffee maker, I wouldn't even be surprised. And now for the fake Chaos Emerald, a bright yellow gem that plays a major role in Sonic Adventure 2's plot. Manufactured by Tails, this clever decoy was designed to fool Eggman and sabotage the Eclipse cannon on the Space Colony Ark. And here's the thing, it would have worked. It mimicked the energy signature of a real Chaos Emerald so well that it would have fooled every detection system in the world, in the next star system, and then some. But unfortunately, in true Tails fashion, he ends up accidentally revealing it's a fake. Yep, just falls for the oldest trick in the gullible book.
You thought you could trick me with that fake emerald, didn't you?
So, how did you know it wasn't the real one?
Because you just told me, Box Boy.
All that sneaky planning and brilliant engineering? Pfft, thrown out the window because he couldn't keep the secret. I love you, buddy, but come on. Even though the emerald never gets used for its actual purpose, it still shows just how terrifyingly smart Tails is. He made something that could have fooled Eggman, his machines, and even the most brilliant inventors ever. And let's not forget, Sonic actually ends up using the fake emerald to perform chaos control. Now that raises a pretty spicy question. Was Tails' engineering so precise that it allowed even a fake emerald to channel chaos control? Or is it Sonic's connection to chaos energy just that powerful he could use anything resembling a gem with faint chaos energy and still warp through time and space? Honestly, I'm just gonna say both, because either way, that's wild. Tails inventing a fake emerald that's functional enough to be used in one of the most powerful techniques in the series? That's not just genius, that's dangerous. Hey look, it's the part of the video where I get all opinion-y. Yep, my personal thoughts are here, and hey, you're totally free to disagree, agree, or passionately write a 300-word comment explaining why the Tornado 2 is peak Tails tech. I welcome it. Now, in terms of every single one of Tails' inventions across all media, I can't tell you what I think is the coolest one, because well, I haven't seen every single one. Yet. But from the stuff I covered in this video, man, there are so many solid contenders. It's almost hard to choose a favorite. Almost. Now, the Blue Typhoon is the obvious pick. It's a literal spacefaring warship with more features than my phone, my PC, and my microwave combined. But we never get a clear timeline on how long it took him to make it, so while it shows how advanced Tails' tech is, it doesn't say much about the process behind it. Which brings me to my actual favorite, the Metal Virus Cure. This one stands out because we can actually compare it to real-world science, and when you stack it against what actual research and development looks like, what Tails pulled off is downright absurd. He's not just smart, he's fast, focused, and level-headed even under the end-of-the-world pressure. This guy saw an apocalyptic pandemic and said, yeah, I'll fix it, just give me a few hours at a sandwich. Pair that with the fake Chaos Emerald, and it really feels like the writers are saying, yes, we know Tails is brilliant enough to end this entire plot arc in a single panel, but come on, where's the drama in that? Luckily, IDW gets the memo, and gives us the Zeddy Zappers later on. Proof that, yes, they'll let Tails have his win, tie up some loose ends, and walk away from a situation actually feeling like the genius we all know he is. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like. And hey, maybe even subscribe if you want to see more of my weird ramblings about fictional foxes. It seriously means a lot to me, and I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you who tunes in. Let me know in the comments if there's another Tails invention you love that I didn't cover. Or if you want a part 2 where we go even deeper into the crazy tech this kid's built. I'm so down for that. And until next time, keep flying high. Psst, hey. Did you know I've got a Discord server now? You can hang out with me in the community in real time. No waiting for the next upload. The link is in the description, and I can't wait to see you there.